Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Before appearing in this year's Royal Rumble, Braun Strowman had been off television for nearly 2 months. He then returned to Smackdown just ahead of the pay-per-view, competed in the marquee match at the event, and then disappeared once more. And now we know what has kept him off television, because in his Instagram story, Strowman revealed that he recently got an infection that got into his bloodstream. It's quite scary stuff. He said that he is on antibiotics though, and it seems to be clearing up, but the infection did cause him to drop 15 pounds in just 5 days. It also caused his joints to swell up and made it difficult for him to eat, which, if you've seen how much Strowman dutifully packs away to keep in peak physical condition, it is a serious amount of food that went to waste. In the post, Braun seemed confident it would be resolved as he sort of towered over a regular-sized man's dartboard and said he would be back on TV soon. Here's wishing him a speedy recovery. Especially as there's a pretty big event coming up in just a little while, as WWE stars will return to Bischoff's Panopticon, or to use its more common name, the Elimination Chamber. With the pay-per-view just over a week away, very little has actually been announced for the show, which does feel very WWE during the pandemic. We already had the announcement of the oldest chamber on record, with an average age of the competitors of 41, according to Cage Side Seats' math, which I won't be checking because it's actually quite early in the morning here. As Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, Randy Orton and The Miz go toe to many other toes inside the structure. And now Ringside News are reporting that with no women's match planned for the event, they've confirmed that there will be 2 men's Elimination Chamber matches instead this year. And though the setup for the second match was not revealed, it will be for the Smackdown brand. But never mind the old EC, because we're also less than 60 days away from WrestleMania 37, and no matches or tickets have actually formally been announced for that either. Now, WWE are reportedly angling to have 25,000 fans in attendance for each night of the show, which kicks off on Saturday, April 10th. And it was said earlier in the week that WWE are pondering the idea of having cardboard cutouts filling the rest of Raymond James Stadium. This is an idea poached from the NFL, which did a similar thing for the Super Bowl. I'd argue it's cardboard cutouts. It's just more surfaces to breathe on, isn't it? More surfaces to... I'm not a scientist though, I'm just a concerned citizen of the world. It's a complex conundrum of how to have fans in attendance and to do it safely, and WrestleVotes are reporting that this is why the tickets have been delayed, which many imagine would go on sale once the Super Bowl had finished up. On Twitter, WrestleVotes wrote, sources say WWE had a few representatives around the Tampa Bay area for last weekend's Super Bowl. They were gathering further information on how WWE can best pull off WrestleMania safety, hence the delay on ticket sales. The event planning and details need to be as precise as ever. Pandemic paralysis also seems to be stretching into all aspects of WWE, from match cards to arena organization to how do we solve a problem like a Rhea? Because we've talked about this before and it's been reported by the likes of Dave Meltzer, but the word is that WWE are planning on bringing Rhea Ripley to the main roster. The match with Raquel Gonzalez seemed like a fitting and hard-hitting send-off. And her runners-up run in this year's Royal Rumble, say that 10 times fast, could have been a good launch pad for a main roster storyline. But according to Ringside News, there is still some uncertainty about what exactly they'll do with the talented Miss Ripley. Because her name has reportedly been brought up in creative meetings, but pitched for potential storylines for both brands, which is why she hasn't yet appeared on either. So what we're saying is that even when creative does have something for you, there's such a thing as having too much for you. Hopefully they get their story straight and we see Rhea sooner rather than later. I mean, SmackDown especially could do with a nice injection of new talent. Into the NXT related news, it is NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day this weekend, and champion Finn Balor is set to take on Pete Dunne, and my brain is set to melt. And so ahead of this, Balor has been doing the media rounds and speaking to the New York Post, and said that despite the huge match this weekend, he is still not 100% for from when he broke his jaw 4 months ago. Balor said that he was still in pain and reluctant to get any type of strike to the face. But worse still is that one thing that still hasn't come back is the feeling in my bottom lip. It's still numb. It's like I've been to the dentist and you get that shot. Pretty much my bottom lip down to my chin, I've still got no feeling. But the doctors are a little hopeful that might come back in a couple of months. They say nerves take a lot longer to heal. Does he spill his drinks like when you get the shot? He was also asked about whether he thought about returning to the Demon Gimmick, a fan favourite, but obviously a massive pain in the ass before every show, I'm guessing. Imagine having to just paint that every single time you went out. Pain. He said that he was definitely considering it, but that it doesn't feel like the time for the Demon right now. But he did give a hint as to when that time might be, saying, you know, Carrion might be that time, but we will have to see how events kind of develop. But his character is definitely something that is very intriguing to the audience. Whether the Demon can add another element to that kind of situation when it arises will be interesting. I don't know, let us know in the comments if you'd like to see Karrion Kross versus the Demon. I kind of feel like Balor would look like a kid in face paint next to Kross in that match, but you know, there we are. Also doing the media rounds is Triple H, who's been doing all of his usual pre-takeover media calls, and a couple of interesting facts arose. Asked about the release of former Forgotten Son and NXT performer Steve Cutler, Tripp said that he had no knowledge of the release or why it happened, so he just forgot. That's our joke, us fans, and you can't just use that as a legit excuse. Now, there were rumours going around that Cutler's release may have been something to do with his recent diagnosis with COVID-19, and in that regard, Triple H said, as reported by Sean Ross Sapp on Twitter, that they, WWE, take COVID seriously across the board. But he only knows what he has read about Cutler, and he hasn't asked. He was also asked about the Velveteen Dream, whose NXT push seemingly shuddered to a halt after allegations against him emerged earlier last year. Now, Dream has not wrestled a match since the Christmas special and only won 2 matches since April 22nd last year. In response to that line of questioning, Triple H said that there is nothing more to add about Velveteen Dream, but he is still on the roster, still training, and still at the PC. Now, whether Dream ever returns to being a central figure on NXT remains to be seen. I could definitely see a situation in which they quietly let him go in about 6 months' time. Despite winning the Women's 2021 Royal Rumble, Bianca Belair is yet to reveal on TV her opponent for WrestleMania 37. However, despite that major title match on the horizon, another match for Bianca Belair that any fan with eyes could come up with is obviously Bianca Belair defending her braid in a hair versus hair match. And considering that this is exactly the kind of gimmick that WWE would love to run, taking into account that they nearly ran with one last year with Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville before that was changed to a loser leaves WWE match, much bigger stakes, Bianca agrees it's definitely something she can see happening, as she revealed in an interview with Peter Rosenberg on ESPN's Cheap Heat. "My cat is meowing, my dogs are barking." Say hello to the people, Terry. Hello, Terry. El Catador. And Bianca agrees it's definitely something she can see happening, as she revealed in an interview with Peter Rosenberg on ESPN's Cheap Heat. She said, "People bring it up all the time and they ask, do I ever think I'll ever be part of that? I think it's pretty much inevitable because, I mean, so much of who I am is my braid. I mean, she even has a name. Her name is Destiny, and it makes sense, right? So, yeah, and I think that it's really fun to have feuds sometimes that aren't always part of the title picture, and if I have a hair versus hair match, I ain't gonna say it's bigger than a title. A title is pretty big, you know, but there will be a lot at stake, and I think a lot of people could get very invested in it. I don't want to lose my braid. I don't want to lose my hair. I think it would be great. I'd be down for it. Everyone says that before they get the razor out. Speaking of inevitable, NXT's Toni Storm believes that an Evolution 2 is inevitable to keep the momentum going for the women's revolution, as she said in an interview with Kenny McIntosh of Inside the Ropes. She said, "It's important that we keep the momentum going for this women's revolution. See, I told you." She said, "It's really important to me. It's the best thing to ever happen to my career, so I'm sure in the future there will be another one no doubt. Now, at the first Evolution, Toni Storm defeated current NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai to win the finals of the Mae Young Classic. And now, all these years later, Toni will be fighting for that title at this Sunday's NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day in a triple threat against Shirai and Mercedes Martinez. And time to end things off with some happy news. We've got to offer our congratulations to Keith Lee and Mia Yim, who revealed on social media that they are now engaged. Congrats, guys. The two Raw stars have been dating since their NXT days, and now they're really gonna be limitless. Oh, bask in their glory. Oh, bask in their glory. Cody Rhodes has picked up a shoulder injury ahead of his big match against Shaq. Press the video on the right to find out the details, and press the video below that to watch Ollie and Luke's full review of this week's AEW Dynamite on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe here for daily wrestling news. I have been El Thegador Laurie Blake, your jam that jampion, jam that jam.